It's the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you wagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here. The good son, Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed the Fade 5 Podcast on this hashtag Tequila Thursday. Bartender, pour me on anejo stat, and particularly a Suavecito anejo. That is our sponsor. It is outstanding stuff. Please go to Total Wine & More. If you don't have one in your neck of the woods, go to your local liquor store and demand some Suavecito tonight. And it may only be like a one-glass type of evening, though it's never a one-glass type of evening in Casa de Evans or Casa de Lundy. But we have a premium matchup tonight on Thursday, and I think the biggest supporters of this are Amazon executives because they have had several lousy contests this year, but this should not be one of them. We got Bills, we got Patriots. The Bills are laying 3.5, and the total, Captain Hook, coming back with that hook, 43.5. So Lundy, put on your Swami hat. What are you feeling tonight? Give me a game score prediction, hombre.
Scoring. I'm calling for scoring. First of all, I'd like to know, did you get the gum in Willy Wonka that makes you change colors? What's with that shirt? You are bright grape. Remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Was it Violet Beauregard? Who was it that turned
It was
purple?
either Violet, it could have been Augustus Gloop, and my body type really resembles that child.
I just the whole color scheme you've got going on right now. For those of you listening to the podcast, you can't see this, but you might want to jump over to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to us in both places, by the way, both the pod and the video. Just go to YouTube and search Fade the Noise. Okay, tonight, scoring, my friend. Give me the Buffalo Bills 26, New England 21.
Oh, you're taking the over, and the Bills on the cover. I am petrified of this shiver me timbers, the Captain Hook. Not on the total necessarily, but on the line. I think New England, because of their stiff and stouts and very respectable defense, going to get this in close. I don't know how they're going to get there, and this is far from a scoregami, but I feel it's going to be 22-19 Bills. So I'm going to take New England plus the points. And I'm just creeping ever so slightly on the under.
I don't know what you're smoking then. Okay, Brad. last year, we had the hurricane game. You remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the wins?
I remember that game.
Okay, if I remove that game from the equation, Buffalo has scored at least 24 points against New England consistently. We can talk about this Patriots defense, but I don't think we're actually giving Buffalo enough credit. In the wild card game last year, 47-17. In week 16, 33-21. Then you, again, throw out the hurricane game early in December. Go back to 2020, 38-9. And then 24-21. You got to go back to November of 2020 to be able to find a game that's going to give you the hook that you're looking for. I know there's going to be some wins tonight, but it's not going to be sustained like what they were dealing with last year at this time. So I'm telling you, I understand the genius that is Darth Belichick. Okay. I get it. I understand the genius that is there, but there are some times that I think we give him a little bit too much of the legend status when it comes to this defense. I think the Bills can score tonight. I don't know what you're doing. And first of all, I don't know where you got this whole 22.5 to 18.7 score that you're going with, but I'm just saying I will be very surprised. As good as New England's defense is, I think when you start to dive into it, they perform really, really well against shitty quarterbacks, and they're a little bit more lenient when you've got a better quarterback. And so I think what happens is New England's rankers look really good, but when you dive in, it really starts to make a difference between the quarterbacks that they're playing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Josh Allen's been INT happy here of late, and that could prove to be the difference in this game.
Or it could be a sneak preview of a pick.
Oh, I love it. And I'm sure that's coming in a little bonus time for Lundy. But let's get after, before we serve up some of that additional action, we got to serve up some Fade 5. Bring it, bartender!
Number 5.
All right, let's live in a land down under. Cue the music in the background there with a minute work, and I'm going to take the under on 54.5 rush yards with Devin Singletary, and I pull this one from BetMGM at minus 115. Now, he should get the lion's share of the touches. You know, you get it smatterings here and there of James Cook. And, of course, Josh Allen is going to be a frequent rusher in this contest as well. More on that a little bit later here on this edition of the pod. But New England got up to 3.21 yards per carry and 76.5 rush yards per game to the running back position. I think Singletary is going to be probably in that 12 to 15 carry range. And as a result, it's going to be a whole lot of 3 yards and a cloud of dust. If you look at New England, they have not allowed a rusher to surpass 55 rush yards in 4 consecutive games. Singletary decent in terms of the advanced analytics, 2.94 yards after contact per attempt. And he is trending with the over, which he has hit in 4 of his last 6 games. It just boils down to this matchup. I do not like it. And as a result, Singletary shall not deliver the goods. So I am under 54.5 rush yards, minus 115 at BetMGM. Lundy, I'm assuming you're going to fade the living daylights out of me.
No, I think I'll follow. Really, we'll talk more about how you should be fading Nate Lundy in bonus time. There's a lot of fadage, happening. We've heard about shrinkage. This is fadage. Kind of put them both together. I will follow on this one. I think there's going to be a funky game script to this one. I can't quite figure it out. And I think that's part of why I'm going to play the under on this one. I think Josh Allen's going to get it done with his legs. I think Singletary comes close to this, but I don't think he surpasses it. I think Buffalo continues to get a little bit creative offensively. That's one of the picks that I'll have provided. Again, I actually have not looked at Brad's Fade 5 for today, so I'm getting all of these blind, and I'm just comparing them to notes that I already had. This is kind of fun. So I think he's going to get really close to this, like maybe 52. But that right there means that I'm following. I'll take the under.
To quote the great George Costanza, I was in the pool. Expect some shrinkage in numbers with Singletary.
Number 4.
Oh, let's do it, OGP. Come with me, Lundy. Hopefully you will on this one because it's a little bit of seduced by the juice. Not really high with the shoulder shrug, but little baby juice at plus 115 at BetMGM on this OGP. And the 2 legs are this. Isaiah McKenzie, 3+ receptions. Oh, and what a quinky dink. 3+ receptions for Dawson Knox. So slap those 2 together again, plus 115 at BetMGM. When you look at McKenzie, he had that monster game on Thanksgiving Day, and that was more of an anomaly, but he's still averaging 24.3 routes run per contest this season. He's gone over this, including that Turkey Day game, in 2 of his last 3. And he's getting a lot of Miles Bryant in coverage out of the slot, who's given up a 102.4 passer rating to his assignments. Now, you look at Knox, a guy that, has been very much a roller coaster ride this season, but he has gone over this number in 7 of 11 games. And you look at New England, the area where you could take advantage of them is over the middle of the field with some of that short field action to the tight end. They've allowed 4.5 receptions, 45.7 receiving yards per game to plus size targets. But still, you look at Knox, he's only getting 11.9% of the team target share. That's 4.2 per game. So hopefully you'll get the 3 catches on those whopping 4 targets. And usually they're in short dosages. And I think that will be the case. And again, I think McKenzie will be a feature player in some form or fashion tonight. He's not going to duplicate the numbers that he had in the feast that he churned out on Thanksgiving Day. But McKenzie, 3+ catches. Knox, the same thing, 3+ catches. You get it at plus 115 at BetMGM. Lundy, am I going to have a little indigestion on this? Fade or follow at that plus 115?
Yeah, you are going to have some indigestion on this one. The challenge you've got with Knox is that he either explodes or he sits there with 2 catches. That's basically what winds up happening with him. Right? You go back, 2 games against Cleveland, he had a great game with a ton of catches. I think he averaged 10 yards a catch, as a matter of fact. But it's like he gets either 2 or he gets like 142. One or the other with Knox. It's weird. It's almost like they have this moment on the coaching staff with Buffalo where they're like, holy shit, we have a tight end. Hey, somebody throw it to that guy. It's really kind of, we're all waiting for that to happen in Denver, by the way. I think I like this one. Believe it or not, Brad, I actually think it's the McKenzie side that you may be sweating more than the Dawson Knox. I agree with you about the Patriots trying to get that short to intermediate field in terms of Buffalo trying to take advantage of that. I think it's McKenzie that's going to be the one that we're sweating because so often we see the recency bias creep in. You've at least acknowledged that there's some recency bias baked into this one in terms of his performance that took place on Thanksgiving. But that's the one you're going to be sweating. But I'm going to say something happens mid to late fourth quarter that gets you up and over and you're celebrating on social media.
McKenzie, Knox, catch all the balls.
Number 3.
All right, another guy's going to catch all the balls. I'm talking about football. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's Rhamondre Stevenson. I'm taking the over on 4.5 receptions at even money at DraftKings. That's plus 100. And I say take advantage before that juice gets loose and starts to climb. Stevenson has been a pass happy or catching machine. Number 4 in target share at the running back position. That's sizable in amount. Consistently getting 7, 8, 9 targets in a game. He's number 9 in yards per route run as well. And you look at Buffalo in the short field. That's where they can be taken advantage of. And that is the area where Stevenson primarily operates. 4.6 receptions, 32.6 receiving yards per game allowed to the running back position. So Stevenson going to be a very fruitful option for a check down Charlie play or 6 in this one for Mac Jones. And as a result, I think he gets at least 5 receptions in the box score. And if that does happen, Lundy is plus 100 at DraftKings. Fade or follow?
Fade you on this one, my good man.
Really?
Yep. Now, I like the idea of Stevenson on an SGP, OGP, like a 3+ catches type of thing. You go back to the wild card game last year, he had 4 catches for 33 yards. Okay. That, unfortunately, is underneath your number. If you go back to week 16 last year, Krispy Kremes, Brad, donuts, no catches, no targets, no nothing against Buffalo in that one. So I'm unfortunately going to have to fade you on this one. I think he gets to 3. I think he might get to 4. I think you're reaching too much for the 5.
Put my arm in a sling. I will reach all diggity day long on Stevenson with that over 4.5 receptions and 2, Lundy. I'm extending that go gadget arm right now for a bottle of Suavecito Tequila Anejo, please. Bartender, por favor, serve it neat. It is delicious. Those vanilla notes just go down so smoothly into the gullet. And I highly recommend that you pick up a bottle now at Total Wine or at your local liquor store. If you're not familiar with Suavecito, let me give you some background information. In 2015, Forbes magazine in New York City contacted 10 tequila experts around the US of A. One in Cali, Texas, Florida, New York. People that know tequila. And they asked them a simple question. What is the best tasting tequila in the United States? And 1 week later on the front page of Forbes, bam! Suavecito Anejo, that fine and crystally looking bottle. Go grab some love juice tonight and throw a betting fiesta on this hashtag Tequila Thursday. Get Suavecito at any Total Wine and More, or ask for it where you are. We consider it a favor. Gracias.
Number 2.
All right, marching on here in the Fade 5. Let's talk about a slot machine and a guy that I'm willing to pump the old machine with a few quarters, and that is Jakobi Meyers. And I'm going to take the over on 4.5 receptions at plus money. Yes, plus 110. Pull this one from DraftKings. You look at Jakobi. He has been over this 4.5 receptions line in 4 of 9 games. And he didn't hit it in the last game because he was barely on the field. He didn't play a full complement of snaps. He was banged up. Practiced is expected to go tonight. Is short, week for him considerably because of the physical setbacks. But still, he played. a week ago today. Look at Teron Johnson, his primary adversary in coverage. He's got up a 69.1 catch rate and 108.9 passer rating out of the slot. Look at Meyers. He's getting like right around 65-70% of his snaps in the slot. Occasionally does line up outside. But Mac Jones and him are in rhythm. They have a bubbling chemistry. You look at the Buffalo Bills overall. They've allowed 11 receivers to reach 5 catches or more in a game. However, they give it up to 6.78 pass yards per attempt. But screw the yards. I just want spirals between the numbers from Mac Jones to Meyers 5 times. And if that happens 5 times, we cash, or at least I do, at plus 110 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
You're all about the juice today, aren't you?
I like the juice. I like it a lot.
You're getting completely seduced. First, it's Rhamondre. Now it's Jakobi. All you're doing, you're looking around, you're there on your favorite betting app and you're scrolling and you're like, where can I find plus odds? Where can I find plus odds? That's what you're doing. Man, I'm going to fade you again.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to fade you again. Again, is he good for 3? Yes. Is he good for 4? Probably. Is he good for 5? Brad, you said it yourself. He's been over this total in less than half the games this year. I mean, you're making your own argument here. This is just one of those where the NFL has kicked our ass so badly with betting this year that you're just like, I need plus odds. Anybody got any plus odds?
Yes.
You're the Dave Chappelle character. You got any more of those? Plus odds you can share with me? That's exactly what you're looking for. I got to do it again. I got to fade you one more time.
Truth be told, I'm down 27 units. It's wise to fade the noise.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno on the Fade 5 pod today. I can't fade this. It's Josh Allen, and it's rush yards. I'm taking the over at 43.5 minus 115 at BetMGM. Now, only 2 quarterbacks have done this season, but there are of a similar ilk as one Josh Allen. Not as explosive as Josh Allen, but the willingness to run, and that is Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields. Lamar went for $107 on the ground against the Patriots. They look at Fields, he went for 82 on the ground against this New England defense. Allen has been over this 7 times in 11 games, and he has gone for 49 or more yards in 4 of his last 5 efforts. He's averaging 7.4 rush attempts per game. And if you just, use the law of average here, 51 flat is what he is averaging on the ground per contest. So Allen, springy, spry. I think the duality is going to be front and center. In order to move the chains consistently, he's going to have to showcase those dynamite running skills, which I believe he will do. So give me the Josh Allen over 43.5 rush yards, minus 115 at BetMGM. Lundy, I know you were down with numero uno. Fade or follow?
Oh, yeah. I'm okay with this one. I'll break the string. I'll actually follow on this one, and I'll stop fading. I like this one a lot. Folks, if this thing moves between now and kickoff, Brad, I'm comfortable up to, say, 46.5. I think after that I would stay
He's
away.
hitting 50. I would say 49.5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 46.5 is my comfort zone probably with this one. I think that's probably where I would cut it off before I just decide to stay away, or before I decide to say, screw it, let's do an OGP, SGP, bring it down to 35, 37, 40, somewhere in that range. So if it does creep up, like I said, I'm comfortable to the 46.5. Brad's comfortable up to 49.5. But I always feel like sometimes, especially with these Thursday night games, we see the movement that comes in a couple hours before kickoff. And so it's nice to be able to know what the threshold is in case you see these move.
Call your own damn number, Josh Allen. At least like 7-8 times is all I'm asking.
Yeah.
And we'll cash the over on this 43.5. All right, Lundy. I've already teased our audience, which you were notorious for. It's bonus time. What else do you like? Maybe Thursday Night Football, maybe on the ice. There's only one game in the NBA today, but holy mackerel, the college basketball slate. It's going to be a multi-screen setup at Casa de Evans tonight. In particular, as I'm soaking in Creighton and Texas before the Thursday night affair. On top of that, additional action all over the place. So What else you got on your betting card this evening?
Yeah, I'm going to let you have some fun with the college basketball. Brad, true story. True story. Ready for a true story?
I like true stories.
We're in the trust circle here, right? We're all together.
Sure.
Let me share a fun one with you. So the Big Ten ACC Challenge has been taking place, right, over the last couple of days.
Yep.
So I've been featuring those games on my television show, You Bet Tonight, which we're thinking about renaming and trademarking. Don't listen to an effing thing Nate says. That's actually what we think we want to call the show. Brad, there were 6 games on Tuesday, if you recall.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. There were 3 more yesterday in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Brad, yours truly went 0-9.
Oh, man. Fade the Lundy.
I went 0-9 in those picks on the television show. So, yeah, ignore every effing thing that I have to say. I actually believe I know where you're going with a couple of your college basketball picks. So I'm going to yield. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor to you on those just because of where I think that you're going to go. Let me get you a couple more in Thursday Night Football. I already said it. I like Josh Allen for a pick. He's tied for the lead in the NFL, for crying out loud, people. He's got 11 interceptions this year. So I'm going to take him for a pick. It is juiced up. DraftKings, for example, has it at a minus 145. So it's up there, but I still think it's worth it because I do believe that it's going to happen. Brad, what if we say Buffalo decides to get a little creative, and we've seen them do this a few times? Isaiah McKenzie, give me the over on 2.5 rush yards, baby. That's all I need. Over on 2.5. It is at a minus 120, also at DraftKings. He's had, in 4 of his last 5 games, he's had at least a carry. Then you go back to last year in that wild card game that I've already referenced. He had 3 carries for 29 yards. In week 16, he had 1 carry for -1. So this is not necessarily a one and done prop, folks. It is possible for him to get tackled in the backfield and have that take place. You go back to 2020 against New England, he had 2 carries for 5 yards. So I like this one. Again, minus 120 is what you'll pay. Isaiah McKenzie over 2.5 rush yards for him. I already mentioned the Josh Allen interception. Over in hockey tonight, full schedule, by the way, 11 games. I will have more picks posted on my spreadsheet as well as on Twitter at Nate Lundy, and I'll have those tonight on You Bet Tonight if you get a chance to watch on Altitude or see some of the clips that we post on social media. But this is a 3-leg money line in hockey tonight. I just need these teams to win. It doesn't have to be in regulation. They just need to win. Give me the Avalanche on the road. They're taking on Buffalo. The Sabres hosting that one. Colorado's just a better team, and despite all their injuries, they keep finding a way to win. Give me Dallas at home against Anaheim. Why? Because it's the Ducks. And finally, Tampa is on the road against the Philadelphia Flyers. As any fan in Philly will tell you, the Flyers, so give me Tampa on the road there. If all 3 of those win, again, just money line, Colorado, Dallas, Tampa, plus 207.
Ooh, I like the plus 200 odds on that one. I'm going to probably share one of those as well in the college basketball here in a second. But let me get you picking the National Basketball Association, because there's one lousy stinking game. Yes, the theme of today's pod is getting seduced by the juice and chasing those plus odds. So I like Dorian Finney-Smith on the over 4.5 rebounds at plus 130 against Detroit. The Pistons, one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. They've allowed the 4th most opponent rebounds per game. Finney-Smith has only been over this 4 times in 13 November contests. But he's averaging very close to this number, 4.3 rebounds per game. He's got a ton of minutes as well, 33.4 per game. So at plus 130, give me 5. I don't know how he does it, but why the hell not on Dorian Finney-Smith. All right, let's go back to the NFL real quick here. I got a couple of more plays for you. I also like an SGP/OGP at plus 110 on Miggity Mac Daddy Jones, 220 plus passing yards. And let's correlate, synergize, and bring it all together. If he gets that, I also say he throws for at least 1 touchdown. Again, that's plus 110 right now. And I believe I put this together at BetMGM. He has done both accomplishments 4 times in a game this season. He is number 7 among all NFL quarterbacks in red zone completion percentage. Decent in terms of adjusted completion percentage as tracked by Pro Football Focus, number 16 in that category. He's thrown a TD in 3 of his last 4. And you look at the Bills. they have allowed Kirk Cousins, Jacoby Brissett, and Jared Goff. And Brissett and Goff, obviously in a similar classification as Mac Jones in terms of what they bring to the table. All three of those guys hit in 3 straight games on 220 plus and at least 1 passing touchdown. I think it's 4 straight for a Bills secondary that's struggling somewhat here of late. So at plus 110, again, gets seduced by the juice. All right, college basketball. I mentioned it's a ridiculous slate tonight, and it is indeed that. I'm going to take the Creighton Blue Jays on the road at Texas, plus the 6.5. I think it's just too many points. 2 of the best offenses in the country, Creighton number 11, and offense efficiency, Carter Bartorovic, the University of Texas at number 14 in that category. You know, you look at Texas, they're outstanding defensively. They have forced the 4th most turnovers in college basketball, and they're top 5 in effective field goal percentage, D. But the 3 is the great equalizer, in my opinion. Over 40% of Creighton shots come from distance, and they're hitting 38.2% as a team from beyond the arc. So a whole lot of Baylor Shireman, the former Fight Chuck Rabbit, South Dakota State, and also Ryan Nembhard, I think will keep this thing within striking distance. I like Creighton plus 6.5 on the road in Austin. Give me Oklahoma State plus 10.5 against UConn. Both teams pretty good in terms of brisk play. They're 135 plus nationally in tempo, but you look at UConn, number 9 in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're shooting lights out from outside right now at 43.6%. Taking a lot of 3-point shots, over 40% of their shots actually from distance. But Oklahoma State, an outstanding defensive team. In terms of 3-point percentage, D, only giving up 27.3% as a unit. So Mike Boynton and his guys, I think, are going to keep this one somewhat close. You know, just lose by 10 or less. That's it. And I cover here because Captain Hook could come into play with the boys at that plus 10.5. And then 2 more for you. Give me Arizona minus 7.5 at Utah. Arizona is the fastest team in the country, number 1 in adjusted tempo, according to Ken Pom. Utah, who have they played? They're number 311 right now in overall strength of schedule. Meanwhile, Arizona, all they did is fly halfway across the world to Hawaii and win the Maui Invitational. They're just a terrific team. Tubelis and Bala, those guys just get whatever they want inside. Krisa is shooting over 51% from way downtown. Ramey is shooting 62.5% for 3. It's ridiculous, the efficient numbers that they are putting up. So I think Arizona will take care of business and cover the 7.5 on the road. And then another road team in the Pac-12 that I like tonight is UCLA. I will lay the 6 at Stanford. I don't think Stanford is tournament worthy. I think they're a very mundane, average team. Look at UCLA, top 30 nationally in offensive and defensive efficiency. They're shooting 39.1% from distance, and this is a contrast style. Stanford wants to play a little bit faster, UCLA a little bit slower. But you look at Stanford, they lost by 10 to Wisconsin. They lost by a dozen at home, a true home game at San Diego State. And they lost by 8 to Memphis. So I think overall, they've been tested, but they're number 320 in 3-point percentage offense and number 220 nationally in effective field goal percentage offense. So ball through basket doesn't happen all that frequently for the Cardinals. So I think UCLA handles business. I believe it's their Pac-12 opener there on the road by the Bay, and they cover the 6 against Stanford. And I'm out of time. Lundy is out of time as well. Drop us a rating and a review, would you kindly, if you enjoy this podcast, and feed or follow all of our picks on our spreadsheets. Always free, always transparent. Check out Lundy's on Twitter at Nate Lundy. Check mine out at Noisy Huevos. And until next time, as always, feed or follow. That is up to you.